That's what an install's like. And it's very difficult for a one-man company who doesn't sub. If you sub, it's still difficult, I think, but less difficult if you use a sub that you can trust. But it's hard for a guy doing it himself because that's going to be your whole day. If you just think about what you typically see on a large company install or even a moderately sized company install, you at least have two guys, maybe three or four, couple doing an air handler or coil and furnace on the inside or just a coil or whatever, and then one guy doing a condenser outside, usually like a service tech type, maybe starting it up, or maybe you have both jobs by one guy, meaning like the service tech and the installer. He's like a combined individual that does both. But sometimes you have a service tech come in afterwards and start the unit up. So it gets to be everybody has their own spot. But in a one-man company, you're all spots. And then at the end of the day, you have to go through the billing and stuff, and you have to deal with the customers. And good grief. Then you have customers that are issues after all the hard work, and you take it personally because you don't have that separation between what you did in the field and this office work. So when you work so hard for 10 hours and the customer has a problem, or the system even has a problem, it's hard to deal with. It's very, very stressful. There were some nights where I was extremely stressed out. I remember just being at my wit's end, like frazzled, just like 1 second away from not. I try to depict this properly. You weren't going to go insane or anything like that, but you were just going to have to go outside and scream for a little while. And to just kind of like a pressure relief or something. That's what I feel like. Save 8% off your order at TrueTechTools.com by using the Shop Talk discount code. Well, welcome back to Air Conditioner Shop Talk, HVAC Shop Talk. My name is Zach Ciota. I am the host of the show. As you can see, Zach Melchizedek Ciota. That's right. That's my middle name, Melchizedek. We should read that. I could read about this guy, this very influential and barely mentioned guy from the Bible. No. We'll do that on a different podcast. Hope everybody's doing good tonight. Of course, you can see we're out at 8 p.m. on Friday night, so you really never know when the show is going to be on. It could be 10 in the morning like we were yesterday. It could be 8 p.m. tonight. Had a really good show yesterday with Tyler Nelson from Sourman Group. Really smart guy. He's like a product rep. He's funny. From New Jersey. Make fun of the Sopranos. It's really, really good. I don't know who is out there. I don't see any chats out there yet. If you are out there watching and want to chat, let me know who you are and where you are. We have a few different things we can talk about today, as well as take your calls. And what I've done a couple different things, actually. And you guys can give me some feedback because you might be interested in one of these things. So I brought back the texting list where I text you if you want to know when I'm live. So if you want to join that group and you aren't on that group, then you can find a link in the description to do that. Also, if you're interested in being a guest on the show on a regular basis, what I've done is send out notifications to a group of those guys for each show so they can join if they want to. So it's kind of a free-for-all. There will be shows dedicated, like certain people, certain subjects, but I want a lot of people to have a chance to kind of chime in and talk about whatever they want to talk about. I feel like that would be a useful thing and a thing you don't see out there, to have you guys and girls be able to come on and talk about whatever you want. So, all right. So I don't see any chats yet. It makes me wonder if the chat's working. That's the problem there. You know, I get neurotic about this stuff, guys. So I'm just going to start talking and hope that chats appear. That would be great. So first, we can go ahead and start off with Bosch. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on Bosch because I feel like lately we've been Bosching it up maybe too much. But I released a video evidently today. I forgot I released it today, but it came out and I saw a bunch of comments on it, and the video was doing pretty well compared to most of the videos that I released, and there were a lot of comments on it. So I figured we would take a look at that and take a look at some of the comments, and basically all I was talking about is how the Bosch is doing, why I don't think it dehumidifies very well. And I see that there's a comment. Hey Weaver, thank you very much. Weaver, I just want to let you know, my buddy Weaver out there, if the show goes off the air, it's because there's water in my cable. And Weaver, I'm not making a joke. I'm positive that you are correct, that the cable I put out there will die soon. Oh man, I got a cough. Here we go. Thought I was getting better here. I really thought I was getting better. I need a 2-second break. Good grief. Okay. So the Bosch video came out seamless, right, guys? It was seamless. And I was talking about why it won't dehumidify. And hello to Steve Stone. Thank you for watching. I have a couple of the comments here that I want to take a look at. I really like them. I love comments because sometimes YouTube ones are pretty good, but the other social medias, like we have a TikTok, those comments are depraved. It's like there's no functionality to reading them. It's just bad stuff all the time, it seems like. But TikTok does so well. I don't know. Hats off to the Chinese who invented it. All right, the first set of Bosch comments are, Nathan Ashton said, can't you flip a switch on the condenser, drops the evap coil to 37 degrees Fahrenheit. It increases the heating temperature, I believe is what that says. My logo's in the way. And we'll talk about that in just a minute because I took some pieces out of the Bosch manual to kind of answer these questions and help me out and kind of refresh my memory. My buddy Brent says, reheat, reheat, reheat. That's your answer. So, okay, Brent's right. You can add on things to these units to help them work. But I'm talking about the unit itself. How does the unit itself do with just its basic form? No add-ons, no crazy stuff, just by itself. Reheat will definitely work because you can just reheat all the live long day until you get the right humidity. So it'll definitely work. And what Brent's talking about for residential customers anyway, for the most part, is you'll have an air conditioning system like a heat pump. In air conditioning, it has heat strips that typically run in the wintertime, but, let me take this off, but you'll actually energize them in cooling to a certain degree. Like Bryant used to have this set of heat strips, and I guess Carrier did too then, that were 9 kW, that would energize 3 kW at a time, depending on how much reheat you needed. So if you had like a high humidity, like the latent load is really high and the sensible load is not as high, typically, or the ratio is a little bit skewed from where it normally would be, then maybe you'd have to run 9 kW with your air conditioning to directly cancel out so you didn't get any air conditioning, any sensible change to just drain all the water from the air. And that's what they were for. And it's not, I would say, energy efficient, but it will definitely get the job done 100%. But I'm kind of referring, whenever I made this video, back to just it's a bare form, how it works stock. So let me bring that back up here. So Lou Hernandez says, I wonder if the ICM CC750 would do the trick. Now the ICM CC750, and I totally should have brought that up on the other page. Let me do that real quick. It is a product that kind of creates a variable speed aspect to your blower. It's ICM. This is for my Googling, CC750. And I put one of these in years ago. And let me bring it up here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to share my screen. And for those of you who listen as a podcast, I'm going to try to move this stuff out of the way here, enlarge it. I'll describe it as best I can. So the ICM Control CC750-115 is the 115 volt. Then there's a 230 version. I'll go ahead and click on that because that's what I actually installed because we have air handlers here. So it's been discontinued, but let's see what it says about it. Okay, the description is, the award-winning CC750 Comfort Control Center is a field-programmable, variable frequency, variable voltage fan motor speed control that works with your existing single-phase AC or heat pump to more effectively remove moisture from the air. It provides enhanced comfort and improved indoor air quality with greater system efficiencies. It also generates warmer air discharge temperatures for winter months and heat pump applications. And basically all that means is it's going to it's going to slow the airspeed down when you have the same capacity if you have a machine that won't adapt to that. Now, the Bosch is taking pressures and temperatures, so it can adapt to changes. So I think it's going to kind of work against that. Plus, with the Bosch, it's not a PSC motor, which I think these are designed for PSC only. Yes, PSC motor. It's a ECM motor. It's like an X13, so you wouldn't be able to do that. Now, technically, it's not a smart motor or anything like that, so you'd be able to actually take the Bosch motor out, the X13 motor, put a PSC motor in that is functional for the same capacity of airflow and all that stuff, and then put this machine on that and create a variable speed air handler. But I don't know how that would react. And that's definitely not stock, but I'm now intrigued. It's a shame they don't make this thing anymore. Probably because there's less and less PSC motors. I guess that's why they do that. Okay, I think that was all the questions there on that first page. So that wouldn't technically work unless you really wanted to modify things pretty heavily and go back in time and find one. But it's an interesting idea. And it would work theoretically if a few things were changed. So now we go to the second set of questions. Let's see if I can read these. A little bit harder to read. T. Leck, our buddy Thomas, says, apparently Bosch does not have the options where you can go into the T-stat and you go to the technician's menu that the customer normally doesn't have access to override the fan speeds and set a lower fan speed, for example, let's say 300 CFM per ton instead of 370 or 420. Now, for this particular machine, it's not the type of machine where you can do that. It's a type of machine that has a PSC motor and a kind of a dumb interface as far as that's concerned. Not a PSC motor, I mean an X13 motor. The interface is a little dumb, so you can't change fan speeds like that because it's not full variable speed. You have to physically change the fan speed in the attic. That's the only way you can do it unless you add controls to it. And we're talking about stock stuff. Now I'm going to take a 2-second coughing break. Hold on. I apologize, guys. I start talking and, all the coughing comes out. I haven't coughed in like 4 hours. HVAC with Brandon says, I talked to the Bosch rep. He said, change your cooling cycles per hour on the stat down to 1, but I don't know. Haven't got a chance to do it on one yet. I have the EWC zone board, keeping this thing in first stage for like 20 minutes. So I feel like that we're getting essentially the same thing out of it, an extended run, a really long run time. So I think we're essentially doing that. Now, I'm not positive that it's going to end up the same way, but I feel like it's emulating the same thing. I'm going to go down to G-Town HVAC. I am very pleased with your videos. Hey, that's great. That's just a compliment. I just added that for my own benefit right there. Thank you very much out there. All right, so let's go back to a couple more pictures I had here. Bosch Manual 1. I have a couple pictures of the Bosch Manual, and the reason why I got these is I saw something that I might have missed as well, so I want to kind of go over it with you guys. If I can see this, let me enlarge it on my screen. Okay, so here are the dip switches for the Bosch. You got the 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, the first one is unused, so that's easy. Can't get that one wrong. The second one is also unused. The third one says adaptive capacity output disabled or adaptive capacity output enabled. So if we go down to the bottom of the screen, it says adaptive capacity function is a self-learning function which allows a range of target coil temperatures to adapt for better unit operation and reduce short cycling. Now let me read that again real slow. Adaptive capacity function is a self-learning function. So there's some sort of programming in there that's going to take some readings and change it over time. When I read that, I was like, perhaps I should double check that, and maybe that would assist in dehumidification. I'm not sure what the programming actually means for that, if that's going to be the end result, because we also have other controls like the EWC zone panel that's manipulating this machine, so I don't know how they work together. But I could definitely try that. So that's something I definitely could try to see if that makes an improvement. And the SW4, or the fourth dip switch, is accelerated heating and cooling, and I do not want to accelerate heating and cooling because that would cause more humidity. And the reading down there says, accelerated cooling or heating function changes the initial target coil temperature to provide enhanced comfort by increasing unit capacity. Now, it's enhanced comfort sounds like you're going to have lower humidity. But but increased capacity means you're going to have shorter runtime. So that's a little bit of a mystery to me. And that's all that's really applicable on this page right here. I'll go ahead and reduce size again. And I had one more picture here because I wanted to go to the manual and get some confirmation of what I was talking about. I just want to talk. And I'll tell you what, the next thing is about the sensors and stuff, which is unrelated. But tell me what you think, guys. You can come over there in the chat and tell me what you think about the Bosch here. Is the learning feature going to be a huge bonus and a huge plus? I don't know. I really don't know. And hello to Hunter King. Hunter King, welcome to the show as I drink some Coke right here. I need to. I feel like a coughing spell's coming on. I'm fighting them off like the devil. There will be no live streams Saturdays and Sundays. I'll be back next week. I'm just going to say that. Be a good time to recover anyway. Stop hacking. I did want to talk about some of the other things I saw in the manual, though, because I thought they were pretty interesting. Like, I stopped at the sensors page here, and the sensors page is cool, and it doesn't apply to what we're talking about. It's more of a troubleshooting thing, but I thought it was cool for guys who are new or unfamiliar with this sort of thing, how the sensors work, and how you test these sensors is you can take resistance. You see kilo ohms of resistance right there, and it goes along with a certain temperature on these sensors. So when you check across the sensor and you have like a known temperature, like it's a sensor that's in the airflow, and the airflow is around 70 degrees, and you check it and you look down here, let's see where we are. The temp is 70 here and 21.1 temperature as far as Celsius, and we have 11.987 resistance of kilo ohms. And then if you have the same or close resistance, you know that you're in the right ballpark. And then you also have a DC volts measurement you can take to also confirm it. And a lot of times that's the easiest way to do it because you can take those DC volts while everything's plugged in right there, and you can know whether or not your sensor is reading in the proper range. Because, you know, sensor off by 5, 10 degrees, it's going to make a big difference on how your unit runs. So it's just a good thing to check. And it's one of those things that you look at all these wires and stuff in the unit, it's like, I don't know if these things are working or not. It's really confusing looking. It's not so hard. Just go back to the manual, read through it, and you can find some information that will help you through the process. And I thought I'd kind of share that on the screen there, especially for new guys who might not have had to do this, and for people like me who don't do it very often. I don't remember the last sensor I had to test. It's been quite a while. I remember I did test one when I was changing out one of those Hyperion EEV boards with little stepper motors and the metering devices that are driven by the stepper motor, taking the sensor temperature or the sensor reading, comparing it to the airflow as far as the temperature, and finding out that things were not quite right. So, but that's been a long, long time for that. The last page I have here that I thought was interesting is thermostat wiring. And the reason why I thought this was interesting, especially for the Bosch, is the Bosch is not a communicating system. It's just pretending to be one because it's variable speed. So it has a little bit of communication. It gets off temperatures and pressures in the system. But as you can see, the thermostat wiring is actually just as simple or simpler than pretty much any other thermostat. And I do see there's a dehumidification. Let me correct that. There's a dehumidification terminal here. And that's probably something I can kind of investigate too, but it's not going to decrease the blower speed because I'm on the lowest speed. So I'm not quite sure what that goes to because it's humidifier / dehumidifier terminal. It may just be power contacts. I'm not positive. I didn't see anything about that in the manual, but I'll go back and check that out. Everything else you can see is pretty standard. You have your O/B going to your B on the indoor unit because the reversing valve on the Bosch is energized in heating, like a ream. It's different than most of the other units on the market, which are energized in cooling, which is pretty interesting. And you got to remember that if you're Zach and you're putting one in your house and you automatically do it in cooling, and forget about that. We have our commons, and our G is still the fan, R is still our 24-volt hot, our Y is still the compressor circuit, and there is you see one cool thermostat up there at the top. There's Y1 and Y2, and you can do Y1 and Y2, or it really depends on the setup, really. Let me take a quick drink, guys. Like I have a zone board, and the zone board does the Y1 and Y2. You just run a Y1 to the zone board, and the zone board does the rest of the work. So it's pretty interesting how you can change that from thermostat, the configuration, and pretty much a lot of things in the system can make a big difference as far as how these different circuits interact. And you can have a 2-stage thermostat. That's what I started with. When I put in the zone system, I put in the most basic Honeywell Walmart thermostat on the market. Not even a common, just batteries. I'm just one of those people. And you see the outdoor unit only has 4 wires. Blue is for your reversing valve. The W, white, is for the heat strips for the defrost cycle. The Y, yellow, is going to be your compressor. And the brown is your C. And it's pretty easy. And let me clarify something here. C is common, by the way. I should have mentioned that. But as you see, there's no Y1, Y2 on the outdoor unit, because the outdoor unit is measuring temperatures on the inside and it modulates. So there's going to be no Y1, Y2, because it's not just 2 speeds, it's multiple speeds. It's a variable speed outdoor unit that's going to get its information from the indoor unit via pressures and temperatures, and then it's going to adjust based on that. Now, the indoor unit will change blower speed, so that's your stage 1 and stage 2 in the IDS 2.0 series. In the IDS 1.0 series, I think it's just the 1 speed, so you have a little bit of even more limited dehumidification capability. So it's pretty simple. As you guys can see, it's pretty simple stuff. There's nothing super special or anything too crazy about that. And I'll go to the comments here because I wasn't looking at them. Doug Marsh. Doug, how's it going? Hey, Zach, I never got a text. Joe, I text you. Actually, no, Joe, I probably didn't text you because I didn't put you on the list yet because I just got your information. Although I might have. I don't know. I think I probably did. And you got me blocked or something. That's what the problem is. But you're here anyway, so it doesn't matter. And you can come on the air in a minute. Right after these messages. Okay, guys. That's all the Bosch stuff for today. I'm going to need Joe to come on the air because I'm going to need someone to talk while I cough in the background muted. But before we get to that, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys our sponsor information. First, we have our friends at NAVAC, navacglobal.com. You can see that's not a Tech 9 right there. Not doing a drive-by. That's an expander, battery-powered expander. That's their brand new product there. It's really nice. Again, you can pretend like it's an Uzi, which is likely what I would do, but it's not actually an Uzi. So if you drive somewhere where you're going to need a Uzi and you take that, you'll be for sure killed. But if you need to expand pipes, I mean, you'll be in great luck. These things are available at TrueTech Tools. Transition, watch this, TrueTechTools.com. You can see some NAVAC products right there, our Sourman pump, a Testo flow hood, all the testing equipment you need, TrueTechTools.com, and use the Shop Talk discount code to save 8%. It's a good nod to hopefully one of your favorite podcasts right there. I don't want to assume anything, but I'm just saying you're watching it right now, so, it is what it is. Refrigeration Technologies, refridgetech.com, all the coil cleaners you ever need for the rest of your life. You can get aerosol cans, you can get the stuff that's food safe, and you can get the stuff that if it touches your hands, it eats your skin off. Refrigeration Technologies has all of it. And, be careful with the skin stuff. I mean, everybody likes New Bright, you know what I'm saying? But it's not healthy. EWCcontrols.com, that's just talking about them. I got the zone dampers inside. I have round zone dampers, power open, power closed, which is the only way to go. Power open, power closed last a lot longer than spring dampers. You guys want to make sure to get the power open, power closed. And EWC makes thermostats as well. I've never tried their thermostats, but they make a wide range of thermostats if you need them, including Wi-Fi and wireless, as you can see here. That's a wireless with a module. And that's the BM Plus 3000, which is the most common zone panel sold. Although they do have stuff that goes all the way up to communicating systems, because I use their UltraTalk on an Amana communicating system that I put in, and it was Amana. But the zone board worked great. And there's tons of configuration for that thing. You can pretty much configure everything under the sun, and that's not a dramatic overstatement either. You really can. EWCcontrols.com. Coming in May here, yellowjacket.com has the information on the YJack manometers. Dual port manometers, and I was thinking they were going to be out soon when I made this picture and put it on the show, but it's going to be May. But I think it's awesome. They're going to have a new recovery machine coming out too. It's got a DC brushless motor. It's 2 cylinders too, so that should be pretty good as well. And last but not least, I guess I can't make Company Cam a slot because I keep forgetting to do that. But CompanyCam.com is where you can go for information on a service for your company, where you take your pictures and job information and consolidate them so that you can save them back at the office and everybody can access them. It is just a good system to have to cover your buttocks. That's CompanyCam.com. Okay, all righty then. I didn't cough that whole time. That's good. I knew the sponsors are paying, so I couldn't cough. That's what happened. I made the coughs go away because I didn't want to get in trouble from sponsors. Here we go. All right. So if Joe wants to call in, Joe, there's the phone number. You can call in at any time. And let's see what else we have on the docket. If Joe doesn't call in, I'll be talking about fatherhood. Actually, that's not technically what it is. It's more about responsibility. So I'll wait for his call while I talk about this, because I was thinking about this. I was driving around today, being a father, taking my son to a doctor's appointment like 40 miles from the house because, we live in the middle of nowhere. We have to drive off to the big town of Wilmington, North Carolina to get anything done. It's where all the supply houses are, too. So I'm just going to make sure Joe's not commenting that he's not going to call. Okay. Hello, Isaiah. Oh, look. Someone's on the phone. I have to delay this fatherhood conversation for a moment. Hello, you're on the air.
Hey,
Oh, you're on delay now. You got to turn that off.
how do I sound?
No, you sound great. Are you talking through your microphone somehow?
No, I got this new headset. That's like one of those little boom mic headsets. It's supposed to be noise canceling and all that stuff.
Like
so
you
I
work
was
at
curious.
Verizon or something?
Yeah, exactly. Or more like a trucker. Have you seen the truckers, how they wear those little...
Oh, I have. Yeah. Joe, what are you doing, man?
Sitting at my dining room table.
So, you called in. No doubt you have subjects to talk about. So what do you got? What have you been doing?
I haven't been doing anything, man. I'm retired. I
Okay.
don't know if you heard.
You're not retired from nothing. What are you talking about?
No, I've been working. I got a good story for you, though.
Well, that's perfect because we're on the air.
Yeah. So I got a call late in the afternoon today at this restaurant that I do some work at, and one unit does the kitchen and then one unit does the dining room, and they said the kitchen was warm. So I get there and kind of in the place alone because it's more of like a lunch thing, but then upstairs there was a bunch of people cooking, so I'm just doing my own thing, and walk up to the unit and nothing's running. So go to the thermostat and it's calling for cool, but I'm getting no 24 volts on yellow. So I'm like, okay. So I jumped the thermostat out, still nothing. Like, dang. So I put all the wires together with a wire nut, still nothing. So dang, I guess I ohmed out the wires and everything, and it was open. So figured, man, that's weird. Something must be wrong with the wire.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for any splices, looking for anything obvious, and it goes through conduit, disappears off into walls. So I'm like, there's nothing I can do for that, So my bright idea, Zach, was I was going to, because the two units are side by side, and I was going to jump a wire from one to the other and make them both run off the one thermostat. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay. I got you, like twins.
You see what I mean?
Twin them up
Yeah,
there.
I was just going to kind of twin them. But, you got to disconnect the transformer on one of them, if you're going to do stuff like that. So I did all that, and then I'll be dang, the thing was sitting there running in heat mode after I did all that. So I'm like, what did I do wrong? I'm working. You know what I did, Zach? I was working on the wrong unit the whole time.
You're kidding me.
Can you believe that?
How many units were there?
Oh my gosh. Huh?
How many units total did you have to choose from?
There was just two in this little mechanical room, and I've worked there a lot, and I don't know why. I guess I'm just kind of, my brain wasn't working fully or something. But, I got there, and the one that I was thinking was the kitchen. I was just wrong for some reason. I don't know why. You know how it is when you're kind of familiar with the place, and you're like, you walk right up to the unit that's in your brain. Like, I didn't even stop to think, like, okay, which unit is the kitchen? Like, I really thought I knew, because I know this building pretty well, but I'm like, just the way they're oriented is a little bit backwards. It's the way the ducts go. Like, you would think this is the kitchen one because it's the closest one to it, but it's actually the further one away. Ducts kind of like cross over each other. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no wonder it's running in heat, because I had the other one jumped out and I'm working on the wrong one
That's
the
hilarious.
whole time.
How many times have you worked on this particular system before? This
Yeah,
one
but
you're talking about.
Yeah, I have.
What's going
Yeah,
on,
it happened.
Joe? I mean, are you stressed out, or what's going on in your life?
Nothing, nothing. It was just a mistake. I figured I'd, share my share my mistake.
I know, I've
Yeah.
made mistakes like that. Where you like go in somewhere and your brain's like on autopilot, and just
Yeah.
you can't fathom. You're
Yeah.
troubleshooting, but you can't fathom that you just walked up to the wrong unit. That would never
Yeah.
happen.
I mean, one was running, one wasn't. So I went in there, started messing with that one. So I'm messing with the dining. No wonder I wasn't getting a call on the yellow, because that
Yeah.
was the dining room air handler that I walked up to.
Well, what was wrong in
So,
the end?
I think like I definitely noticed that the thermostat wasn't fully on the sub base because it's like right. It's in a restaurant kitchen, so it's always happening at this place. They're always kind of like knocking the thermostat off the sub base. So, I think that's kind of all it was. Um, but at that point, I kind of put everything back together and everything ran. So, you know, but what's funny is that this kitchen, it always struggles to cool because they have a giant ice machine in this small little kitchen. And like I keep telling them, that ice machine is why it's like 80 degrees in here, in the summer. And so I almost wonder if it was working the whole time. They just were kind of, every season comes and they kind of forget that, yeah, that kitchen does not cool to 72. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I think that's
It's
pretty
not going to
common.
do 72.
Yeah, you see the big hoods they
So,
fire up and stuff, and they like I don't know. Whenever they
yeah.
do these
Yeah.
commercial loads and stuff, and they make these plans, it's like we're gonna need like a 10-ton system in the kitchen, and they're like, no, we can't afford that. Do like a 5. I said, but the hood is like
Yeah.
2,500 CFM or something like that. It's like
I
that's
don't this little place didn't have a hood. They have a hood in their main kitchen, but this was like a little cafe. And
oh,
they didn't have a hood, but they have a giant ice machine and then a bunch of other little appliances in this small little kitchen. So,
well, geez, I wonder how
so
much
yeah.
heat it puts out the
You think I
back
could
of it.
still charge them though, Zach?
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
all my Okay, good.
I would charge them overtime because that was
Yeah,
stressful.
I was because I was. Yeah, it's just been a long day. It's been long, and my brain was just like, the sad part is though, I did this. I did it earlier in the week too at this giant apartment complex. That's kind of an interesting story. So this company from up in Atlanta somewhere calls me and just asked me if I had availability to go look at some commercial properties. And I'm pretty familiar with these third party companies. I really usually don't entertain them. They usually don't like to pay you. They make you do all this
Mm.
paperwork. So, I told them my usual thing, which is, yeah, I can go. I need a credit card on file and I will charge a 250 like administration and dispatch fee just to go out there. And I'm going to run the card just to make sure it goes through and all that stuff. Right.
Yeah,
And that usually makes people say, okay, no thanks,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
but they're like, okay, yep, that sounds fine. And I'm
Score.
like, what, really? Okay, well, so they're actually a pretty good company to work for, but I guess this company does nothing but huge apartment complexes all over, I guess the southeast, maybe more. But I guess they don't really have the manpower to follow up when things don't work. And they
Uh,
wanted me to go out there. So okay, so I've been dealing with all kinds of stuff like refrigerant lines crossed up, um, you know, disconnects crossed up, and it's just a nightmare. But yeah, I kind of did the same thing to where I was like working on the condenser that was labeled that condenser, but it ended up, you know, that wasn't it either. And it was kind of the same thing. Like, why am I not getting a call on yellow? Because it's this one over here.
what kind of systems are there?
They're Duquesne.
Just regular split heat pumps?
Yeah, with apartment style air handlers.
Oh yeah.
The air handlers are nuts though, man, because let me see if I can you put a picture on the air if I send it to you real quick?
If you email it to me, I probably can.
I gotta email it.
Yeah, you
Okay,
have to
let
jump
me
over that
see.
one small hurdle. That's correct.
Let me see if I can email you a picture of these air handlers because they're
But they're not
pretty
Duquesne
nuts.
because
So
Duquesne doesn't make. Do they make apartment air handlers?
yeah, must be
Oh, because I know like the
Allied or whatever, right?
Oh yeah,
Duquesne
that's true.
Allied.
Maybe they just have like the generic name because we used to have like the ones I worked on were all First Company or Goodman. That's pretty much all they were. And they would match up with whatever.
Yeah, yeah. These are definitely made by that Allied company, and they're actually not too bad to work on. Because the whole coil like swings out of the thing kind of crazy. Like it has almost like a corrugated suction line. So that you can literally like bend the coil out of the way, because when you look at it, like the fan motor is buried behind the coil. You're like, how the heck are you supposed to work on this thing? You know?
What was it? The one that was so
Okay,
hard to get
so
to.
let
Was it the
me.
Goodman one that had
All
the
right,
coil that couldn't come out? It was tough.
What?
Sorry, I had to sneeze.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say phone's cutting out.
No, the Goodman one, it seemed like the coil was hard to come out of it. The AWOF.
The fan motor's a nightmare to come out.
Is that what it is? Oh, the
Yeah.
blower housing won't slide out. That's what it is.
No, it doesn't. It's screwed in from every which way, you know?
Yeah. I never had to change a blower in one of those, so I guess I'm lucky.
Yeah, I haven't either, to be honest with you.
Although the karma comes back because all the other ones were First Company, and on the first floor of this place, in there, they had like a room with a few washers and dryers. There was a floor mount style, like the mini splits have little floor mounts, but this was a First Company floor mount, and it had a dual blower wheel with a motor at the bottom. That was a pain in the butt. So I got mine later.
What's your email? It's not coming up on my thing.
HVAC Shop Talk at Gmail, bruh.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
That's a great time to announce that. Guys, you want to get in touch with me? HVAC Shop Talk at gmail.com. That sounded nice.
Okay. Yeah, but see, I can't believe I did the same thing twice in a week. I tell you what, I labeled those air handlers though.
That's good. Hey, someone's got to do it. I did the same thing at this place. I was like putting numbers on them because they put numbers on them when they install them, and they're like all gone by the time you get there.
Yeah. Well, what happens when they're wrong?
Hey, yeah, when they label them wrong, that's even worse. It's like, well, this guy knows he installed it. I must be wrong somehow.
Yeah.
But it's not running, and the refrigerant lines don't even go that same direction.
Yeah.
Come on, Joe, get this internet thing over to me.
Well, my phone's not cooperating.
Your phone's not cooperating with you.
Yeah.
Well, I'll read comments then because there's like 22 comments over here. Let's see if there's anything.
Yeah, what are they saying?
I don't know.
Making fun of me?
They're probably not even talking about the show. They're probably just saying something else.
Okay.
Let's see. It's a bunch of people talking to each other. Let's see. Joe, I have done that before too. Oh, Dallas says he's done the same thing before. I think he's talking about walking up to the wrong unit.
My brother Dallas, he's on my side.
Is he a choir boy too? That's right, isn't he?
Yeah. How come you don't want to be a choir boy?
I thought I was. Hey, I got the Bible right next to me, Joe.
Yeah, but you've never filled out the official paperwork.
See, I don't think that you should have to fill out paperwork. This feels like going to communion again now.
This is serious, man.
Do I have to read the catechism of the choir boys?
Mm-hmm.
I probably do.
Why is it making me do one at a time? That's stupid.
I don't know. How many are there? Well, Zach, you ain't talking. Hey, that's right, Steve. Steve's like, you're not talking to us. Why would I talk to you guys? You can still discuss the show, and I'll peek back in periodically. Hey, this is for Steve because he's obviously angry about this, and this is from the Bible right here, which I happen to be holding while Joe sends his pictures. It says, "You have heard that our ancestors were told, 'You must not murder.' But if you commit murder, you are subject to judgment. But I say, if you are even angry with someone, you are subject to judgment. If you call someone an idiot, you're in danger of being brought before the court. And if you curse someone, you're in danger of the fires of hell." Wow, that got too strong at the end. Sorry, guys. Hey, but it's from the Bible, so I mean, it's legit.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, you got to read the whole thing. You can't just read little bits that you like.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Jesus sure is nice. Whatever happened to him? Yeah.
Yeah, he's all loving. That's actually not in the Bible. Nowhere in the Bible does it say he's all loving.
Hey, wait. I got a great part to there. Man, I got a great juxtaposition to that, if I can find it.
Sending.
Well, I'll tell you what. The thing I was going to say, which I don't know exactly where it's at, is when you say, like, I did not come to make peace. I came to divide your families and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, he's a boss.
Yeah. Does Jesus say that?
Yeah, he says they said I didn't come in peace because families are going to be divided, brothers are going to be divided because one will believe and one won't. He's talking about dividing people in
Hmm.
half just because they don't believe. All right, I got to download and download,
Okay.
download and download. All right, Jay. Well, how's your business going in general? I mean, good,
Well,
bad,
it's going
ugly?
really good. I'm actually my little brother's going to come on full time, as um, so I'm gonna start training him from the ground up. He has no experience. He's never really wanted to do the family business before. Um, but yeah, so that's gonna be exciting.
Wow. How old is he?
He's 4 years younger than, so 35. Oh, actually, he'll be 35 this year. He's 34.
Wow, you're almost 40?
Can you believe it?
I can't believe it. Whenever I first had any interaction with you, I remember like you and Brent were both like 30, 31 years old. It's funny.
Yeah, yeah. What was that? 2014 or something?
It was yeah, it must have been around the iManifold
Hmm.
time.
Yeah, good old on manifold. I still use my iConnect.
I should buy one. Does anybody sell the iManifold?
Are they still in business?
I don't know. I'm about to go to True Tech Tools and find out if they still exist or
I
not.
think so. Yeah, I think I saw it. Because I had to know the other day too. I'm like, there's no way they could still be around.
They
Like,
disappeared from the marketing side. I don't hear anything about it. Oh, there they
hmm,
are. Yeah.
yeah, they pretty much screwed themselves. So,
Yeah. It's hard to run
that's
around when you shoot your foot.
yeah, yeah,
It's still there. I liked them, man. I thought they were
yeah,
great.
yeah. Hey, that's how I figured out what because I was at these apartments, and that's how I figured out, because it's pretty easy to figure out what two line sets are connected, right? You can blow nitrogen in one, it comes out. Where does it come out the other one, right?
Yeah.
But how do you know what floor that goes to when they're all mixed up? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Where does the loop go on the other end?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Like which one? Because they were all three mixed up. Um, and they have three condensers side by side: first floor, second floor, third floor. So luckily they have TXVs and they have a little equalizing quarter-inch equalizing port. So I took that loose, put my iManifold probe up in the third floor, pressurized one, and just looked for the pressure to rise, let the nitrogen out. It fell. So I'm like, okay, that's it. You know.
That's smart. That's
So
good. So it had
yeah,
like a little flare type connection screw on.
yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah.
good. Oh, very smart, Joe. Now
That
I
was
got your
handy.
pictures. Can you actually see the screen? Are you looking at it?
Well, let me um
Yeah, you could
let
have
me
logged in. You
mute
could have just
it.
come on here if you wanted to.
What's that?
You could just come on here alongside with me if you would have wanted to. Actually, if you didn't get the text, I guess you
You're
can.
kind of far away to like drive there and come beside you.
It's true. Uh, I
Yeah.
don't know what how much time you got on your
Oh,
hands.
Dallas still uses his iConnect too. See, we are brothers.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I like the iConnect. I thought it was great. The iConnect.
Yeah.
iConnect. All right, so I'm bringing
Yeah.
up your
Yeah.
pictures here. This is
Did
just
you
the
see the
model number.
pictures?
So
I'm lagging, so
oh yeah, you'll be behind by like 10 seconds. No, you
there you
don't.
go. That's the data plate.
Data plate's not
I'm just
exciting.
seeing that one.
Oh, I see this. That looks familiar.
Does it?
Yeah, all them
Yeah, see, it's
stupid
like, how are you
things.
gonna get to that blower motor?
So what is the deal? That's the filter? That's the filter in position right there.
Yeah, but that's just that's the whole coil behind the filter.
I'm gonna look at that. Oh yeah, I see it. Yep. So you guys who listen to podcasts only, you just got to imagine one of the apartment style air handlers, and the blower's like tucked behind the coil. It looks like half the blower compartment's tucked behind.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap! How deep are these things?
Um, what do you? It's not deep, It's like an apartment style unit, so it's probably like, I never measured it to be honest with you, Zach, but it was probably like 14 inches or something.
Oh, that's not bad. Okay.
No, it's pretty narrow.
So does that coil stand straight up right
Yeah,
behind
it's
that
like a
filter?
slab coil. Yeah,
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
yeah, and it's not too bad, man. You take those two little side, you take the two little brackets that attach it to the frame. You can kind of see the one kind of hanging off there. Four screws. Actually, no, okay, four screws per. So then you kind of just grab the coil, lift it up out of the drain pan, and swing it forward, and then kind of bend it out of the way, and then you can get to the TXV behind it and work on it. It's definitely not like ideal, but I guess that's how they expect you to, because I don't know if you can zoom in on that suction line, but do you see how it looks like a water heater flex line?
I do see up at the top there.
Yeah, kind of interesting. I never seen anything like that before.
We don't have any zooming capabilities, though. Sorry, not on
Okay.
this.
I thought this was, high tech stuff.
I'm working on it. I'm gonna bring out like some more stuff, somewhere wherever it's at, so I can do a few more things. You should come back then too. It'll be better. Oh,
Yeah.
here's the thing. All the way out, it looks like.
Yeah. Yep.
So that comes out
Just
pretty
dangling
far.
by the Freon lines.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's like for reference, people who are listening, it's this whole slab coil. It's like I don't know how tall that. It looks like almost like one of them low furnaces in height, and you have like a slab
hmm
coil, and it's all the way outside the front of it, and it literally is. It looks like it's dangling there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Because a couple of them had bad expansion valves, and that's how I had to, you know, get back there to work.
So if
It's kind of swing it out of the way like that because the valve's behind it.
is it bolt or do you have to solder it?
Yeah, bolt on, thankfully.
Oh
Yeah, actually,
yeah. All right.
yeah, I was just dropping pistons in them in these apartment things.
Ooh.
Because I mean, you should see this place. I mean, you know,
Are you
and
justifying your bad behavior with your surroundings?
sure I am, man. I mean, this company, you got to think like and I'm not giving them like I'm not hitting them full retail. This other company. But I'm charging them pretty good. I'm surprised they keep calling me back, to be honest with you, because this is how those companies do $1 million projects and don't make anything. You know?
Well, that is funny. You know, the Lord works in mysterious ways, Joe. I often thought sometimes like you give somebody some crazy amount because you don't want a job and then they give it to you. It doesn't make any sense. I feel like that's a special movement there you have to take. You have
Yeah,
to take
I
advantage
did.
of.
I did seven. I did 7 apartments for them. I worked till 8 o'clock on, I think it was Wednesday night. Yeah, Wednesday. Or yeah, it was Wednesday. They called me back and they handed me a list of like 10 apartments. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do all these. I got there at like 12,
Oh my
and
gosh.
one of them was completely empty, on charge. Couldn't find a leak anywhere either, so got that one charged back up. And
The
another
old
one
Schrader's loose.
was completely empty too. And there was actually people. It was funny too. They are moving people in these apartments, and they're still like finishing them, which I find strange. Like
Huh.
the apartment complex is still being built. There's all these. They haven't even officially taken ownership yet, and they're already moving people in these apartments.
Well, how does that work?
But
So you're called out right after they install these things?
yeah, well, some of them I guess never worked.
Oh, it's flat. That's bad.
Yeah, it's flat, and I can't really find a leak, so I'm not taking, you know, too much time because I got 10 places to get to, right? I have my little ultrasonic leak, and that thing works great. If there was a gusher, I'd find it, you know.
Yeah.
But then one, actually it looked like someone had maybe messed with the expansion valve because there's all these nicks on the nuts. But the actual back, the body of the valve where you would adjust the superheat,
Uh-huh.
when they're not adjustable, they kind of have a big nut there.
Right.
And that thing was loose and leaking. So I'm like, I wonder if they tried to like take
Oh
that
no.
apart for some reason
What
or
a rude
something.
awakening
Like, I
that would
don't
have
know why
been.
you would,
Yeah, that would have been
but
bad.
anything goes with this place.
Well, I
So
totally agree with your piston idea. I think that this is a good piston place from what you said.
yeah, yeah, because there's a big glob of something in one of the valves, so this place just like
Oh no.
I don't even know if they pulled vacuums on half of this stuff. Like it seems to be like they did because I can usually tell when there's that much non-condensables in one pretty easy because the subcooling's off the charts yet the suction pressure and the superheat's high.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like we talked
and
about
they
this,
were
Joe.
running. Yeah, we talked about that before. I talked a bunch about it,
Yeah.
but they seem to be running pretty good. So I'm like, okay. Oh, and then one of them, when I took it had such a bad expansion valve was totally locked down. They must have been trying to put Freon in it. Man, when I unbolted the valve, like, I don't know how much oil came out, but it was like more than I've ever seen come out of a line.
Oh no.
And I called them, and I didn't have any POE on my truck. And I was like, hey, I got it running, but I'm a little concerned. I feel like half of the compressor oil came out. Do you want me to run across town and get some oil and come back and put it in this machine? Well, how much is that going to cost?
Oh yeah.
I was like, I told them. They're like, nah. I'm like, okay.
I'm sure it's fine.
Not my
What's
problem.
5 or 10 ounces of oil?
Yeah.
They're not changing the filter anyway. So like in a year, all the oil will be logged up there anyhow.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, okay, you got it.
Yeah, you're the boss. I mean, really.
Yep.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. What a cool place to work. They have
It
complete
was.
faith
It
in
is
you.
kind of cool. I feel like it would be cool, like if I had some kind of way to stream live for hours. Like I'll have my brother just be like, it's like being an ER doctor. You're just like, you're stopping the bleed and you move to the next patient, just nonstop. So it is, it is. Oh, and guess what? They had one of them. They had, I guess, the installers kind of pulled some of the wires off the transformer and kind of did the eeny, meeny, miny, mo thing. And they had
the eeny, meeny, miny, mo thing.
Like, where did this wire come off of? I don't know. There's an empty spade. Put it there. Well, what they had done is they hooked the primary side of the transformer. They hooked the wires up to all 3 taps. And
what?
So if you look, like a lot of units will have a jumper wire, like go into the transformer, you might have 2 black wires. They're kind of on a piggyback, and it's clipped on the transformer, and it goes off somewhere else. Follow me?
Yeah.
Well, that wire must have come off, so they put that black wire that's supposed to be piggybacked. They put that one on the 208. They had the other one on the 240, and then they had the common on line 2 hooked up. So all 3.
Well, how did this all happen?
Like I said, I think the installers must have pulled it loose, and it was like, where does this black wire
They just
go?
started plugging stuff in. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. Plug
love that
something
idea.
in. So I was like,
That's pretty good.
yeah, got an easy one there. And
This is like a dream location. Hey, I always think of you, man. I think of like the guy who's meticulous and not slow, but you take your time and do your jobs at your speed and do them right. So this is like the opposite of that. This is like being at the MASH
Yeah.
hospital.
yeah, that's what I was saying. You'd be like, yeah, but I still go probably above and beyond, because I want to make sure the ones I kind of touch, like, are working pretty good, because all of them are low on charge, all of them, because I don't think they probably lost some when they opened the valves, and you got to add some for these long lines and stuff. So
Yeah.
all of them are low, so I'm putting like, instead of just being like, okay, fix the transformer, on to the next one, the thing's running like no subcool, 38 degree suction saturation, 30 superheat, it's like 70 degrees coming back. So I'm putting like 2 pounds. So I'm going a little above and beyond. Oh, and guess what? I even mounted some TXV bulbs because I had 0 superheat. And a funny thing too is I had one unit that I could tell the TXV was just flooding it because I had like really high suction pressure, higher than any place, any of the other units, and I had really low head pressure and no subcooling.
Mm-hmm.
And the subcooling was like just almost going negative, to where the liquid line was warmer than the saturation and stuff like that. So I'm like, this is weird. So I've had it to where the little heating mode check valve in the TXV must not be seated. So it's letting a bunch bypass. So it's just like flooding it. And so what I've done on a couple units, and it actually works, and it worked on this one too, was I just pulled the disconnect, opened up that air handler, took my pliers, wrap, hit the TXV a couple, 2, 3 times, boom, 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 turn it back on, boom. 10 degrees superheat, lower saturation. Now I'm running a regular suction pressure,
What the
and now
heck?
I've got higher head pressure too.
So you're telling
So
me
I'm
there was
telling
crap
you,
keeping
yeah.
the check valve open, and you hit it and knocked it loose, and that crap's in the compressor now?
Well, I didn't say I knocked it loose. I don't know what it is, but the check valve was not seated. And I even switched it to heat mode, switched it back. That doesn't do it.
Did you see it like frost up or anything through the valve, through the check valve?
No, because it's internal. I mean, you
Oh,
wouldn't see it.
I got you. I was imagining like a train separate
Oh
check
yeah,
valve
no,
or
those are
something.
gone by the way. Yeah,
Yeah.
no one does that anymore.
Why did I even imagine that? That's
I know,
ridiculous.
right?
That is
Back to your
stupid.
install days.
Yeah. Is it been that long that I'm imagining a separate check valve? I guess so.
Yeah, yeah.
What the world?
Dude, those were good units, though. I will say.
Yeah, they work good.
If Train still made those units, I'd be like Ted Cook. Train's the best.
Well, they don't, Joe. Those are gone. Now you have those refrigerators.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those are nice air handlers, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't seen one of those in a while. I hear you can't buy them anymore because they don't have any, because the boat
You know what
sank or something.
I like about them is you don't have to worry about like condensate blow off because the whole unit is the pan.
Yeah, that is nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. You
so
can
it's
all
like,
wipe it down if you want
sure.
to, really. If it's all molded up and stuff, you can clean it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm not going to do that. I mean, but you could.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Good times.
yeah. So that, yeah, it would. Can you stream live from a GoPro?
I'm sure that you can, but you probably need a different apparatus because the GoPro could probably be the webcam for something that's streaming, but I don't know about by itself.
Yeah, I don't know either. But yeah, that'd be fun if they get, because I feel like they're gonna keep calling me back to this place.
Yeah. Well, you can always use your
Hmm.
phone if you don't want to get any other calls or anything like that all day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That would probably last exactly 40 minutes.
Yeah. I'd be surprised if it lasted
And
that
it'd be
long,
done.
really. You know?
Yeah, I'd have to get one of those like what do they call them? The gimbals and the extra battery pack. Have a whole
Oh,
setup.
yeah. It
And,
keeps it level,
I
right?
love you guys, but I don't love you guys that much to do all that. But
Yeah.
it would be fun, you know.
Hey, you know
It
what,
would be
Joe?
fun.
If you're gonna leave like a phone or something in the corner of a room where you can't even really see what you're working on and stream it all day, you don't have to worry about that. Don't worry about that.
You're talking about what I used to do.
I'm talking. Well, I was picturing some other video, but did you do that too?
Yeah. I think I did that once or twice many years ago. Like I was doing an install and I just put the phone up all day long.
Yeah, and you can't really see anything.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
This
I'm
was
learning
back in
nothing.
the early days of YouTube.
Oh man,
Before people like Quality HVAC and Chris, that really like put all of us out of business.
oh, you mean the guys who
know?
are working on the unit going, cut camera 2, go camera 2. Come on,
Yeah.
roll the boom up. Yeah,
Roll intro.
yeah, yeah. Get that. What's that? Get that shotgun mic out of the picture. Yeah.
Yeah. We're moving.
I was like, every time he
It's
comes
a good
on.
workout at that apartment building too, man. Being one man.
Oh yeah, getting
That's
your
what I'm
steps in, Joe.
Oh my gosh, up and down, up and down.
Man,
So
how many steps did you get?
I don't know. A
Oh,
lot,
you're not 40 yet. You don't care.
a lot. Yeah. Well, no, I do care because, my health could always be better. So,
Yeah. Well,
but,
that's a
yeah.
good question. Steps and steps. How does your back do with that since you had the back injury?
It's fine. Fine. What hurts my back is like cleaning a condenser or something where I'm leaned over for a long period of time. That's what wrecks me.
Yeah.
Or being under a house wrecks me. But I try to be pretty careful. Walking, running, anything like that doesn't really bother me at all.
That's good. And that's what little bro's
Yeah,
going to be for
I'm
anyway.
really blessed for that. I mean, super blessed. So.
Yeah. Oh man.
But my knees are bad too.
Oh man, this is
It's
sad.
like 20. I've been doing it for I started when I was 18, so officially 20 years, and it's hard on the body.
It definitely is. It wears on you after a while.
Mm-hmm.
I had this stupid wrist thing I wear periodically because of carpal
Yeah.
tunnel. I call it snip's hand. That's what we call it here. When you cut so much stuff with snips and your hand is like you have like the claw and it's like your hand gets stuck that way. And my little brother called it that. He barely did any work. So, which is funny. He shouldn't have anything. He's a college professor now, but the rest of us have to wear it, which isn't that bad. Wearing the stupid thing isn't that bad. But, ravages of time, I guess.
Yep. Yep. So I'm looking forward to, when I go in the grave, there ain't going to be no good parts left on me.
Oh, you're going to, okay, you're going to ride the thing into the ground, literally.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to that new body that's perfect, because this one ain't going to be so good anymore.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, Joe. Okay, here's the analogy that I'll give for that. I was driving to New York one time, and I came back, and I was driving a Volkswagen Jetta that I had bought not too long before that. And on the way up there, it started to smoke whenever I accelerated. I was like, what's going on here? I'm picturing in my head, well, like the gasset's gone bad or something's going on here. On the way back, every time I accelerated, the smoke got worse and worse. So as soon as I got back, I drove to the mechanic. He goes, you know what? We opened it up. We found some metal shavings. I said, all right. So I took that from the mechanic and I drove straight to the dealership and traded that car in. I said, no way. No, not dealing with this. It sounds bad. When I hear metal shavings, that's bad. It was a bad day. I had to fill the oil up twice.
What'd you get for it? And did you tell them about the metal shavings?
I let them do their inspection. So I wasn't a child of Christ at that point. I omitted the fact that I knew about the shavings, and I said, just inspect it however you want. If they drove it down the road, it was going to spew smoke anyway.
Right. It's kind of like, buyer beware thing,
Yeah, I tell you what, it wasn't the right thing to do. I'll go ahead and get that out of the way. I should have probably told them about it. But at the time, there was some desperation to it as well.
Right.
And
Don't
not
worry,
justified.
it goes both ways. I'm sure they took advantage of you on the other side of it.
They sure did.
So,
I recall. Yeah, they drove around this Tahoe that I bought one time, and my wife's like, "Oh, I love this car. We have to have it." And I'm like, "Thanks a lot. We're even." Great.
You got a Tahoe?
No, we traded a Tahoe in for a minivan. This was a while back.
Yeah.
My wife wanted a different car. She wanted the Odyssey, so that's what we got. And now you can't find cars.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the shoe to drop on this whole, economy craziness thing, and maybe find some good deals on cars again.
That's what I'm saying. I thought about, it's like, I'm going to sell my car back and just have less cars because they can't find them, dude. They're like, we need used cars to sell. I'm like, that Odyssey is probably worth like $40,000 now or something. It probably appreciated since I bought it.
Yeah.
It's like, good grief. It was already appreciating when I bought it. Yeah.
And see, you know what? That brings me to another point. I'm looking forward, this type of a market is going to separate real technicians from the parts changers. Like I think one of your guests was maybe talking about that, But like you can't get this evaporator coil, so you need to figure out a way to make it work, or you can't get that motor and stuff like that. So
I think the inner salesman will come out in that case. I think the inner salesman will be born in that case. You need a new unit.
Can't get them, or something.
Oh, that's true.
That's true. Yeah, but that's not always like. But I'm sure you remember how it was when it was 08, 09, even 2010, 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
People were fixing stuff. It was like people were not just saying, okay, it's got a leak. Yeah, let's just change the whole thing out. Economy's good.
Mm-hmm.
Like
you're right.
It's definitely, these past couple of years, it's like, I couldn't even sell a leak repair and filling it back up because it'd be, $1,300 to $1,500 to do that, and people wouldn't even put that much in their units.
You're right.
But
it was a weird time back then. That's when I started really doing service a whole lot too at that time period.
Yeah,
it was useful to learn.
Sometimes it bites you in the butt because this piece of junk just, it's like one thing after another. It's like, when's this gonna stop?
You look bad after a while. It's like, what are you doing to this thing? It's like it's just the way it is.
Yeah, you got to take the good and the bad.
Yeah,
that's sometimes you the hero, sometimes you're the zero.
That's nice.
So,
that's my shirt.
Yeah,
hero or zero, circle one. I have a circle around zero or something like that. And that'll be it.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, thanks for
Hey,
coming on, man. You've
you're
been the guest
welcome.
for the whole show.
Are there some good stories?
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted whenever I was like telling people to come on. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured I had some good ones, so I went ahead and came on. And plus, you kind of put me on the spot, made me feel a little awkward. So,
Okay. Well, I'm glad you did. Anyway, I'm glad I provoked you into coming on to the show. And
all right,
I'll keep
brother.
doing it every time because you got that headset. You sounding good, man. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want to try. Let me try doing it one time with my van rolling down the road. Tell me how I
yeah.
sound, because that's why I got them.
Well, I'll
You
make
know.
sure that you get text. I thought I did text you, but maybe you just weren't on the list yet. But I'll put you on the
Yeah,
list here after
yeah.
the show.
And I'll check and make sure. Maybe do have to unblock you.
Hey, yeah,
So.
well, it's because I use email to text. Sometimes the carriers don't like that. They don't let you get those for some reason.
Oh
So I'll
yeah,
double
yeah,
check. But we can do it
yeah.
a different way. I can just
I
email
get
you.
those from some people, so hopefully they'll let me.
Well, it should then, I guess. I'm
Yeah.
Verizon. So,
But I
so.
do have that call filter app, so they might think you're a scammer.
Hey, that's possible. That is possible. You might have to open up the wall so I can get through or whatever.
I'm not opening up, man. I'm sorry. I'm not letting those, people come through.
Oh no, just
So we'll
me.
have to.
Just open up. I
Yeah,
won't let any of them.
yeah.
I'll be like
I
the
don't know
guy
how to
who won't
do
let the
that.
dog out. I'll be fine.
Yep. Yeah, I could put you in the contact list or something.
There you go. All right,
All
we'll
right,
figure it
man.
out.
Well,
Yeah.
had fun.
Well, I will have fun. I have 73 comments to look at, so I'll take a look at those and I'm going to close this sucker out. But I appreciate it, Joe.
Bye.
Take it easy, man. Bye. Joe Shear, everybody. Thanks to Joe for coming on the air. That was awesome. There's like 74 comments, so I'm sorry about that. I'm going to try to read some of them. Joe was doing a really cool job in talking to me, so I really appreciate that. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm going to scope through here real quick, so bear with me, podcast people. I got to read through these. Could you hang the coil with a rope? Going back to that air handler Dallas is saying hang it with a rope. Yeah, that's a good idea. Man, it seems like I did that with a ladder one time for some reason. We did hang something with a ladder one time just to get it out of the way. That's a good idea, Dallas. Let's see. Hey, Joe, how was your tape idea going? I'm not sure what that means, Steve. Ultrasonic, that's right, Shannon. Ultrasonic likes the AccuTrack, I think it is. Leak detector. I've never used one. So I bet people are like, this is great. I don't know. T-Lex, open the valves and just let it flush out the other side of the line instead of vacuuming. The old purge and go. Let's see. Zach, do a podcast za. I'm not sure what that means. Zach, do a podcast za. I'm doing a podcast right now. You can tune into this one. Let's see. That's a lot of people with Isaiah's name talking to each other. That's weird. RJ Dippold, that's Rob, is saying power shears or double cuts. I did get a set of shears later on. I got those Malco shears. We're talking about cutting metal, like Snip's hand, like I was referring to. We got a pair of power shears, and I saw that Roby and a whole bunch of other people make battery ones too, and I wanted to get some of those. I haven't tried those yet, but I do have the ones that clip onto your drill, and they seem to work really well, the Malco ones. So I like that idea, and it's definitely easier on your hands for sure. Let's see here. Anybody else? Can't even find technicians. Yeah, it's really an interesting atmosphere here as far as locating people to work for some reason. I don't know why, because it seems like people would want to work, especially when the comments or the economy is into the crapper. Let's see. I'm getting news all day long. No delays. That's good. No delays for T-Light getting units. And all right. There's a lot of fake names in the chat. It's kind of hard to see the actual comments. Fake names. All right, I think that's everything right there. That's pretty much all I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about some responsibility stuff, but I think I'll save that for next time. Don't forget that these shows go unlisted afterwards. You can still find them on my channel, and there will be a podcast too shortly after the show. I'll just take it and convert it to a podcast, and you guys will see it here shortly. I guess I'll close. I read my Bible verse already, so I guess I can't read it again. Or can I? I can read something different, which I think is nice. Sermon on the Mount stuff is always good. Let's see. Well, here's some easy one. Here's just the easiest one you can possibly get into. It's a one-liner right here. The Golden Rule. Matthew 7, verse 12. Do to others whatever you would like them to do to you. This is the essence of all that is taught in the law and the prophets. So law, talking about law of Moses and the prophets that came before. Just kind of summarizing, and a good thought for getting along with your fellow man, doing the right thing. And that's funny, Weaver. The other live stream going on right now is talking about taking a dump on a roof. Hey, I've been on rooftop calls too, and there is some urgent things that do happen. I've never done that before, but I guess it's possible if you have a bucket or something like that. Not that I'm gonna get bogged down in that conversation, but I can empathize at least. So treat other people like you want to be treated, guys. That's basically the gist of what I'm saying here. I appreciate all you guys listening and watching this show. If you want to join me as far as on the text list, you can do so by going into the description of this video and hitting the link there and signing up. I usually add people to the list once a week, so if you don't get like the next couple, it's because I haven't updated the list yet because I do it all myself, and sometimes it's just I'm a little bit late in doing it, but I will get you on there. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you want to support the show, you can put a comment on. You can also support at Subscribestar, which is like my Patreon style thing. I just don't like the politics of Patreon, so I chose Subscribestar. If you want to do that, then you can go down the description of this video and do so there. I will be back on Monday. We'll do it again on Monday. If anybody wants to join me on Monday, just let me know. HVACShopTalk@gmail.com. We'll take some call-ins unless I get a guest lined up, and I'm not going to do that probably over the weekend, so it'll be open for your phone calls. And guys, just have a good night, have a good weekend, hang out with your family, have a good time, and I will see you on the next one.